Welcome to the TrueMindShifters channel. In this channel, we cover the topics of fear, shame, and guilt, and we share true stories from our own lives to help you become your best self. If you find this topic interesting, please like, subscribe, and share to amplify the goodness of this channel. This is our monthly Catalyst conversation, and we're thrilled to have Oren and Bela.
We are thrilled to have you here, especially because we decided, Eva and I, that we had talked a lot about fear, shame, and guilt in the past 6 months. And we spent a lot of time discussing what fear does to people in their personal and professional lives. Shame and guilt we touched upon a little bit, but not enough, and we will also share those topics later on. But what we've come to realize is that we understand that all of the fear that people are having in their lives comes from trauma. And because it comes from some type of trauma, whether it is a childhood trauma, adolescent, teenager, or adult, doesn't matter. It comes from trauma. And what we should talk about for some time would be the topic of healing. And for us, healing comes in three forms: soul, body, and mind. So we would like to welcome you to our channel because the two of you are truly incredible, unique individuals who joined on this earth to combine their uniqueness and bring a lot of goodness through interesting paths, venues, right? I would like to introduce Oren. When I heard Oren, when I saw Oren, I knew right away that Oren, in my mind, is a teacher, and he will talk more about that. When I was introduced to Bela, she shared that she is a healer, and I'm super excited and interested and curious to find out more on her healing practices. So welcome, Oren and Bela.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
We have two incredible people that Marina just introduced, a teacher and a healer. And in many ways, I think those terms could be interchangeable. But Bela and Oren, why don't you share with us a little bit about how you identify with healing as individuals yourself, and maybe your own personal journey to how you arrived at where you are today and calling yourselves healers.
Ladies first.
Okay, thank you. So I knew I have something special when I was in my teenage years. I've always been interested in energy, in mystics, in astrology, and somebody told me that I have very powerful and healing hands. So when somebody had headache or they hurt themselves, they asked me to put my hands on them and the pain immediately were going away. Through years, I also noticed that, and I started to use my ability with meditation techniques. I was introduced to meditation maybe 25 years ago through some program. And then 6 or 7 years ago, I became Reiki master and teacher. It's Japanese technique that allows you to find harmony in yourself and help others. And when you heal somebody, what I used to do, I was healing through myself and was feeling pain the other person was feeling. And once I started doing Reiki, I was using energy of the universe to use that healing powers. So I was just a tool who helped that person to heal themselves.
Wow. Incredible. I have more questions, but I want to hear about Oren too.
My story is kind of surprise to myself because I just follow my wife to some classes about spirituality and got stuck on this pretty much. Turns out that I have some abilities and can read space, can diagnose people with which had some problems and issues, and can do it. I'm actually pretty good at it. Turns out, so I knew nothing about it until I got to this class, which was a complete accident, and it's been what, 25 years or so, and I kind of continue to do it. I like it. It's gives me perspective of life, gives me opportunities to see through other people's about some solutions, and I like to share my knowledge with other people because I think that if I can contribute to completely strangers to become calmer or better or just more centric to themselves and not being a slave to the what's going on around, being themselves, that's I think it's great. So that's
Yes. It's amazing though, and I want to be very honest about what we're talking about, right? Is an alternative way of healing. I think people might have their preconceived notions about what healing even is, right? I think we can all agree we live in a life that has trauma in it. We all have trauma. We experience trauma, physical, mental, etc. And the truth is there are many different ways to heal. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
yes. Yes, I do.
Oren, when you were talking about what that does for you and why you're doing it and why you keep doing it, right? What I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to make a statement, right? So when you're helping people, I'd like to hear, if it's possible, how? How does that work? What do you do? And the statement that I wanted to make is that you too, right? What you're doing is amazing, but it's not something that you live off right now in our world, right? So you also do a lot of other things. You work. We all need to pay our bills, right? So to me, what's incredible is that you're doing it on top of your everyday life. And I just wanted to say that right now because that takes a lot to do so much and to share so much. So thank you.
So answering on your question, how I don't know the mechanism. Honestly, I don't think anyone knows. There's so many different theories of how it works. I just does. I just do. It's just there. So I can talk to the person when I'm going in some light meditation, and just I can see what this person is troubled about. And let's just say that first, that no one who is completely satisfied with his or her life ever go to me or anyone like me for the solution or advice or anything, because they're fine, at least in their micro world. We always talk about people who maybe tried everything and they're still stuck in some picture, let's just call it, stuck in some situation they don't know how to resolve. They come to people like me, like Bell, or anyone else. There's many people like that, and we help them. So my personal understanding as of now, because it can change any moment, my personal understanding as of now is that I go to so-called Akashic record, which is a record of everything which exists, which has information about everything which was, is, and will be. And I just draw the information. So I locate this personal record of this individual in that Akashic record and just start reading it. So I see the picture. I see not even like a book. I see it as emotional picture or some
Movie.
like a movie. I see
Mhm.
like some or a snapshot. Boom. And I just describe that what I see to the individual, which most cases see first time in my life. And this person tells me, how did you know about those details in my life? Because nobody knows about that. And I always answer, I don't know, I just see it. But there's no, that's how it works. So short answer is, I don't know. It's just there. After all this, which I said, it's there.
Very interesting. So when you see those snapshots, those pictures, those movies, right? And you share the situation with the person, what is the next step? How does it help them?
Well, this is the basic theory of working with the trauma. And the first one is acceptance, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember all this. I think the last one is you do something with it. The first one is acceptance, with all the steps in between. So I help them to accept the truth. Again, everyone has his own truth. This is just for each other. It's extremely personal. But I accept them. I help them to accept what they struggle with, because they came to me for help, and I tell them, this is your problem. In many cases, actually, it's our nature. We blame something else for actually, and completely ignoring the real problem. We don't see it. It's because it's sometimes, in many cases, it's just so on the surface, we just say it cannot be, or no, it's not that. Most of the cases, we just don't see the problem, or we don't want to accept it. So when they came to a stranger who tells them, hey, this is your problem, and sometimes it takes me like an hour, and they say, no way. So many times, it's classical.
Denial.
I mean, I'm just not, I even stop laughing about it. Because in the beginning, when I would tell person, this is your problem. And then we argue for hour because the person says, no, it's not me. You reading someone else. So for hours, we probing here and there. And then at the end, he says, by the way, this is what it is. I said, well, that was my first sentence hour ago. And the person answers, really? I didn't understand it. So it means I think that kind of session is a huge success, because for just 1 hour, within 1 hour, I was able to actually open eyes to the individual to actually recognize the problem. Once they recognize the problem, the healing starts automatically, because now they can at least, once they acknowledge it, they can start healing. They can do something with it. You can't fix the problem if you ignore it, if it doesn't exist for you. So that kind of how and what I'm doing.
Denial. People
Exactly.
deny. And the reason why there is a huge denial for many, right, is because it's scary. Some people who experience trauma, they block it. So when the block created, they honestly think you're wrong because there is a block. Okay? When they and some know what's going on, but because it's so scary to admit, so scary, and I've seen those people so many times. They know what's going on. They know what kind of trauma they have. But because they're so reluctant to deal with it and they're so scared to deal, they're reluctant because they're scared. And third of all, they're reluctant because it requires change, and change is scary.
I think mostly is what you said first. Mostly it's a fear. Change, we're talking about laziness, right? Sometimes they're just lazy to apply the change. But the fear that stops people in track, right there.
I used to think like you and agree on laziness, because I do even have some people very close to me who say, I'm just lazy. I don't want to do it. I'm lazy. Very recently, I realized that it's another defense mechanism. It is a defense mechanism because it's scary. Number one. Number two, it's so hard and it requires so much work that people just say that they're lazy, but they're not lazy. They're just, they don't see the benefit. So what we are also asking our catalysts, right, and our guests, in your opinion, you have so much experience, 25 years. It's a huge amount of time that you were able to help so many people. What benefit you can share that you see that people experience once they actually embrace that trauma, the situation, and they resolve it?
To answer on this, I need to kind of go a little bit toward the scare / lazy / change, fear of change and stuff first. That in many cases, you're right. Lazy, it's a defense mechanism in many cases, in just probably absolute cases. But what I observed in those many years is sometimes people they don't know that something is happening to them. It's not because they're lazy. They just can't realize. As one of kino heroes, in some movie, famous personage said, "You can't handle it. You can't handle the truth."
You can't handle the truth.
Right. And they can't handle because they don't know it's there. In many cases, we are not living in an island when there's me and that's it, and bananas tree. No, we live among other people. We constantly communicate. This communication is, in most cases, in absolute majority cases, leads to exchange of energies. And it's not always positive exchange of energies. In fact, it's pretty much never positive. Well, the moment you exchange the energy,
Wow.
the moment you give your energy to someone, it's like you make your dirt his or hers. Because you just have your problem, you give it to someone else, and now someone else is carrying that problem of yours. That's an exchange. If you think in a nutshell, energy exchange. You're using your own energy, which is by definition yours. You give it to someone else. Someone else is now dirty. It's almost like you went outside, find the dirt on the street, put your hands in this, and then just put it on someone else.
Yeah, I have a saying, Oren, that our energy is contagious.
Right.
It's
So
another way of visualizing that dynamic of our sharing or transferring of energy.
yeah. So the healer, like what Bella is doing, what she said when she started to do this, she went through healing, putting someone's energy through her, which means that she would take on herself someone else's pain.
And absorb it.
Literally. So the Reiki allows her to channel it without getting dirty by someone else's energy. It's exactly what I'm saying about the exchange of energy in the real world. You're going out there, somebody else is complaining about his or her pain. If you don't know what to do with it, you're sharing with pain with him or her, and now you're complicit. Now you're energy-wise dirty. I call it. You just got this energy, which is not yours. Ever. It's not yours. I mean, yes, pain and being passionate and participate in somebody else's trouble and help and advice, yes. But do it neutrally. You don't have to take it through yourself.
Sounds easy, not easy.
No, it's absolutely not.
That's why we have classes for that. Yeah,
It's
protection classes.
And I was sharing with Eva so many times behind the scenes that so many times I give positive energy, I share, I motivate, I empower, I boost, right? And then I feel empty. I feel so
Great.
depleted. Depleted.
You are giving away something that's yours. There is
Yes.
two different things in to be energy healer. When you have energy around you, when you're positive, people around you changing their energy to match yours. That's the way of healing others, not giving your energy to them. It's a big difference. And that's what Oren trying to say. Whenever we're giving something from ours, we shouldn't give our energy to anybody. It's our energy, it's our aura. We need to protect it. But when we are grounded in harmony, our energy around us almost like lightens up. And other people seeing that light and they're healing themselves through that light.
Trying to match.
That. That's a very big difference.
Remember, Eva, in one of our shows, or maybe not even one, but many, I have a saying. When you change inside, everything outside changes. I don't know how I came up with it, quite honestly, but it's exactly what you're saying.
What I maintain is what's good for you is wrong for anybody else. Your energy is yours. You are not supposed, you shouldn't, you don't have to, you mustn't. I don't know how to emphasize it more. You shouldn't give your energy to anyone because it's not helping them. Because now they're dirty by your energy. I use the word dirty because it's kind of easy to understand. But also it's bad for you because now you are depleting your own space. You used to have your battery. Just imagine yourself as a battery.
Absolutely. I know exactly what you're
So
saying.
now you just give some of your charge to someone else. What happened to your battery? Unless you know how to recharge, you're tired.
Yes.
You feel bad, you won't sleep, you
Yes.
don't want to do anything. Yes, oh my God, I'm so tired. Here you go. Because you are depleted. Why? Because you, not specifically you, but the person, let's be more neutral here. So the person just
No,
the energy
me.
out. Yeah, you. Okay. No, some people don't like this you, me thinking. So,
Warren, we're
that's
the
fine.
true mind shifters. We are not afraid to talk about ourselves openly to the world. So yes, you're right, me. And you're right 100%.
Well, yeah, thanks. Thanks for confirmation, but this is how I teach in classes too. Yours is yours, somebody else is somebody else's. And it never selfish. It's just the things which you should not share. The only one thing which you should not share with others is your own energy. And it's because if you think about it, the energy out there in space has no it's not negative and it's not positive. That's people who makes it into negative or positive. If you wish someone something, it's you make it you give it a charge to that absolutely neutral energy. Now it becomes a weapon in many cases. So basically that's why I'm always saying that don't wish something good when you mean actually to send your energy to someone, because basically you're making it worse. Make sense?
I am just sitting here, honestly, and I know I'm speaking a lot today. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I am blown away because A, I'm right, and you are a teacher. B, you have given me exactly that one crystal that I was missing, because there is such a general notion in the world that we're sharing energy, we're exchanging energy, we're sending someone love, right? We can send someone love. I got it. And I agree about being balanced and more of the neutral, right? Without giving ours. We can take it from there and share.
Exactly. That's why I always getting mad and somebody says almost getting mad. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That, oh, I send my love. What do you mean you send your love? You send your energy to someone else. You actually make him sicker. What's love? I mean, for that, there is a special place, neutral place where you're supposed to exchange the energy. But don't go to someone's house and start rearranging the furniture or do whatever. I mean, they don't want you to go to their house and even maybe wash dishes. It's their house, it's their mind, it's their body, and suddenly you're there and rearranging stuff. What kind of shock these people goes through? I mean, oh my God, who are you? What are you doing here? What about my house? Now you're in my house. So that's I think it's a wrong worldwide wrong motion that, oh, we have to exchange energy. No, you don't. You're making worse.
But it doesn't mean that we don't need compassion, we
Yeah.
don't need love, we don't need help. It's two different things. That's what I'm
Of
trying to
course,
say.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, there is
for
a
that you have a neutral space.
Let's talk more about that because I think it's critical. For me, it is seriously like something that was crooked now is not, but I need to think more about it. You just give me a lot to think about for the next few weeks, quite honestly. But I actually wanted to ask Eva, what do you think about it?
It sounds easy. All of it sounds easy, and it isn't. And I want to tie it back to, so then if we're exchanging energy, how do we ever heal anyone?
You don't use your own energy. Reiki, Bella, what Bella is doing, she's using her body to channel energy. Well, she can, you can talk, yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing the same. I never ever use my own energy on anyone else because it's invasion. You can call it invasion, right? If I take someone else's energy on me, I feel myself worse because now I make myself dirty. Now in my space, there is someone else's energy. I don't want it because it's my space. It's again, I'm not selfish. It's me and mine. This other person, if I give them the energy mine into their space, I make them dirty. So how is it a healing? Instead of I want them during this, what answering on the previous question, Marina asked, I want them to reclaim their own space. And for that, there are tools, and everything is happening somewhere in between, between our spaces, let's call it, if you can think like there's a connection between us, between all of us. You don't have to invade someone else's space or body, right? Space, energy space to help them. You're doing it neutrally. You're doing it in between, in a neutral space, like in a space, let's just say, right? That's how you're doing it. You're not invading, and you're not letting anyone else to go into your space.
What you're saying, Oren, is basically to truly value your uniqueness and respect others.
Absolutely.
And to me, and I apologize, maybe I'm going to just, I don't want to sound corrective, right? It's not dirt, because to me, dirt, I'm a human being, right? So to me, dirt is associated with something negative, right?
Excellent.
Though in Napa Valley, dirt is very positive and healing, but in general, and it's more of when you are giving something of your own, you're losing something that should be contained within. So you're not helping others, you're actually hurting others.
So how is it not dirt?
So it's probably we can call it life force energy. So when you're giving yourself your own life force energy, you're losing yourself.
Part of yourself.
Part of yourself. So in order to do proper healing, people should not do the healing through their own energy. They're either messenger giving the information that this person needs to receive, or a channeler, a person who basically, like all the Reiki practitioners, they basically channel from their universe, from the energy from the universe through that person. And that person, their higher being, knows much better what they need for themselves for their healing. So we basically giving them energy from there, and the person takes whatever he needs to take, whatever his, as Oren said, reclaiming their own energy back.
And here we actually came to extremely interesting subject, maybe to the next session, about judgment. Because person who is giving his own to someone else is actually judging. If you think about it, other person. I insist for you that you have such and such thing, and I want to heal this, this, and that. So I judge you, and this is bad. Because
Definitely topic for the next story, not right now. Definitely huge one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Because judgment is associated with shame. So we need to talk about it for sure.
Shame is a mechanism of judging, because you can judge because you're trying to make someone think like you using different mechanisms. One of them is shame.
Right. Agreed 100%. The reason why I'm asking Eva, because she's exceptionally giving person. I'm a giving person, but Eva is super giving person. And I'm looking at Eva and I'm thinking, oh my God, Oren just totally blew my mind with this concept, because I understand at first I was like, oh, but as I calm down and I think through about it, that's how I process information. It makes sense to me, right? And as a messenger, right? Many times when I tell people what I tell them, right? I feel depleted. And I was sharing that with Eva. That's a very sacred thing I'm sharing right now. First time in the video, by the way. And I don't want to do it, or I do it very rarely. But now I know why. I couldn't figure it out. I want to put the focus on Eva because she's very giving. And the concept that you're bringing is different from what I think we both know. And I would like to hear your thoughts, Eva, on that.
I think it's a decision I've made to make my life about sharing love. I know my internet is unstable, so I don't know if you can hear me.
That's okay.
But I'm sharing, I made a decision to share love in the world. I don't feel depleted by that. I feel energized by it. I feel responsibility to share love with people because there is a need for it.
And if I can say something, there is a big difference again of sharing love, be compassionate, and giving away your energy.
Yes.
Whenever I'm doing healing, I'm getting energized. The same thing probably when you're giving love.
I'm reading the same.
Reading the same. You're giving love. It doesn't mean you're giving your energy. You're giving your love. And it's two big differences.
And actually, question is it your life? Well, sorry, is it your love you are giving, or you're channeling some energy through yourself? And this is this is the only I'm going to use this word, reasonable explanation why you're not feeling depleted. It means that you're not giving yourself. You're giving Akashic. You're giving universal love, love from universe. Let's call it the energy of everything to other people, not yours. That's the only way you are not depleted. Otherwise, you would feel worse, because it would be giving part of yourself.
Yeah.
So you have connection.
Well, and it's kind of I'm a little emotional because I feel like I was the recipient of it through my mother, right? Like I was tapped into something very beautiful, special, and incredibly powerful through her love, the way she showed love. And I know that it's not common. I don't think that there are many people who have family members that are like my mother was. And so I feel very special and fortunate to have been receiving the type of love that she gave. We have earthly words for it. I feel more like we're talking about something metaphysical that might be very new and challenging for people, to be very honest, especially if they have religious views that might dictate how they, what is right and wrong in terms of beliefs and practices, etc. And, I would even think, if my mother were here, what would she think? She was a very religious person, and how would she feel? What would she think about what we're talking about? Even though what we're talking about is honoring who she was and is, and to me now. But yeah, what are your thoughts around this idea that we have so many ways that we're supposed to heal, and that this might fall outside of the realm of normal or I don't know, general healing, right? When you think of healing, I think of it very broadly, but some people might look at it in more of like, okay, well, I need a pill, or I need a band-aid, or I need this or that, or I need to talk to a therapist.
Healing have many forms, and I'll tell you one story that I learned when I took my integrative nutritional class, and everybody is saying that eating high carb food is bad for you. But it was research made in Italy that family, they were laughing, they were eating pasta, high carb food, drinking wine, and they were very healthy. So for them, the healing was through their family, through their social life, through the relationship. For other people, it can be some kind of meditation. For some people, it can be church or synagogue or mosque, and they're finding that through religion. Other people can find it through yoga and exercise. For every person choosing for themselves what works best for them. And there is not right way or wrong way. Everybody chooses what's the best way for them.
But choosing to heal.
Right, right.
So you choose to heal, you find what works.
Correct.
Yes. Thank you.
People need boundaries. They always, everyone needs some sort of set of beliefs, and it doesn't matter pretty much what it can be. Someone believes that drinking wine every day is healing. Someone eating pasta every day. Someone goes to church weekly. It doesn't really matter. I mean, people want some sort of boundaries. They define it for themselves, and if it works for them, it's good for them. What we do is we're just trying to maybe help people to find those boundaries of what works for them by telling them the truth. Hey, you are this, right? We back, Marina, we back to what we started this conversation from. So laziness / fear / whatnot. So we're just trying to help them to find themselves. Because majority of the people on this planet, okay, I'm gonna use the same word, the dirty. The dirty with the other energies. I guess I need to find some other word, but the point is that they are occupied. How about that? With some other.
It's not dirty, it's probably foreign energy.
Foreign energy.
Maybe it's more.
Not there.
Yeah.
Something. So majority of the people. So everyone who is clean, that's a healing, because they can start healing.
I started to hear the word like contamination versus purity, right? And I think that right, like
contamination.
That's the right way, contamination.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And
I hear word impact. You're impacting someone, and regardless, it's an impact, right? When it's positive impact, it is wonderful, but it is never through something that is truly of your own uniqueness. It should be something that is shared, right? shared values, shared understanding, shared space, being there for someone, sharing.
Yes and no. No, you're right. But as I already said before, sharing must be done outside of your own space. It's almost like, hey, let's go back to church. You're sitting home, you by yourself in your house. You're going to church, you're sharing your
Right.
energy, your space with someone. So, but it's not your house.
Yes.
So the same as sharing. You can go to school, you can go to farmer market, you can go to mall, you're sharing. You come back home, that's yours. It's your walls, and nobody else is allowed. That's my message. That's what it's all
Well,
about.
even the distinguishing between, right?
Mhm.
Like that's a very nuanced, like I don't think we even think of
Mm-mm.
the differences within, like what is the energy for us versus what is the energy for others, and what do we give and how, and even this concept of Akashic energy, the energy that you were talking about, why I may not be depleted, why it energizes me, why I feel compelled my whole career to support other people in their growth and their development. I'm not tired when I do that, right? I love it and I love people. And so, but I wouldn't be able to articulate to you how I know where it's coming from or the difference.
Exactly.
Totally understandable. We just don't
Exactly.
do everything.
And I love it. I love sharing. I love giving, but I'm losing a lot of energy, and I didn't know why. We recently, Eva and I had that conversation offline. I don't know why, but now I do. So just that incredible revelation, realization, that is already shifting. Personally, for me, shifting my perception. And because it's shifting my perception, it's going to shift everything around me. I know that we have an impact. As you said, Oren, we're all connected. What I would like to actually ask Bella, from the healing perspective, right? I know we're going to talk a little bit about that because we didn't want to give everything out, and we have so many more topics to talk about. So we're going to have continuation of those stories, right? When someone like me realizes, oh my gosh, I was giving something on my own and hence depleting myself, that's the reason. How do we start working on it ourselves, at least if we can? Not everyone can, but if we can.
Yes, we can. And actually, that's Oren's class. He's teaching the tools on how to protect yourself and how to be able to re-energize and reclaim your energy back. And he has series of classes where there is a very simple tool that he's teaching on how to get back to yourself.
Mm.
And we have a lot of students who years later were coming, oh my God, you changed our life. Now my life is so much better. I am not yelling at my kids, kids behaving much better. My relationship with husbands much better because I can use those tools. I can reclaim back my space.
Wow.
It actually works really well on kids, especially if you driving them in a car and they start creating mess. Usually, this actually works. People who don't even believe it, and once they start using tools, and then you see that kids just calm, like, whoop, and they calm. That I always felt kind of laughing about it because people like, I didn't know it. I never believe it actually going to work. Yes, I went to the class and I uh, understand tools and I use it to myself. But then my kids in the car started to act up. So I use it on them and they calm down. So like,
I'll be calling you, Oren.
I'll give you my phone number.
What I was going to say is that we are coming to the end of the hour. However, with Bella, I guess I framed my question not exactly correctly. I would like to know more in the next stories as we're going to progress, how to contain that energy of mine. I know Oren is teaching, but then if I still want to share in that medium space, right, as I call it, how do I contain it? Because I think a lot of what you're doing, and you shared that too, you're channeling, right, without impacting your own. I'd like to hear more. I think we have embarked on something that requires so much more conversation. And of course, we're going to share all the tools that you had described, an opportunity to reach out to you directly and to learn more and work with you directly.
So even without tools or any classes, the message, kind of like message of all what we're talking about, is basically the message itself is what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. That's all. But the problem is to realize then when to say it. Because once you realize that something happened, in 99.9999999 such percent cases, it's too late. You're already under attack by someone else's energy. Somebody already gave you stuff.
Mm.
So you're already under attack. And then you need to clean yourself up. So that's kind of tools. But if you can realize, some people, they don't need any classes. They just naturally can do it. If they can say, mine is mine, yours is yours, realize it and live by it, by this motto, let's just say that, they don't need any class. They're fine. They're done. But those people don't need even healing because they are already fine. But this is very, very elite, extremely small percentage of people. Majority of them just don't realize they're under attack. And I'm talking under mental, spiritual attack, energy-wise.
Great.
Wow.
So, Marina, back to your question about the healing. A lot of times when we physically in pain, it's our kind of the last stop. So it tells us there is something wrong with us that we need to fix. We have energy around ourselves. It's called aura, our aura. We have chakras. And as long as our coat around us is clean, doesn't have any holes, our internal physical body also in health. So what I'm doing on the spiritual level, I'm healing the outer space around us, our aura, and then helping on the physical level to remove those blocks.
That makes perfect sense for me. That absolutely makes perfect sense. And what's interesting, you just said something that I thought about it immediately. One of the sayings that I have is that there are always signs around us, and we just need to look for those signs. And so when we talk about these topics, what we're trying to address are tools, right? But also how to recognize. So what you just shared is, right, Eva, is truly unique because if we just listen to our body, right, or our mind, we're hurting, right? Because we can be hurting emotionally or physically. That's an indication that someone came through or we gave something of ours, and maybe to start there, just to start there. And that's already
Unfortunately, we are not trained to do that.
correct. Correct.
We don't learn it at home, at school, in life with our partners. We don't.
Correct.
That's why that's what I'm saying is that you realize that you are under attack too late. Because we are not able to identify the attack itself. We're not trained.
And that is an excellent point to make a pause of our incredible conversation and prep for the continuation of these stories, right, Eva? Because this is exactly what we're doing with this channel. We are looking for ways to convey so many different messages that will allow people to gain what they haven't learned in their families or as they're growing up, same as us. Moreover, we're learning with people like you coming to our show, people like other people, right? Every single person that came gave us this unique, incredible gift. And we would like to share it with others, with you, by our side.
I have a saying that's I want to help heal people without medicine. And medicine comes in lots of different forms, but helping people learn how to heal themselves is what I'm hoping to do. And it sounds like this is an incredible way to open people's minds to that path. And everyone has to choose it for themselves. Like you said, it's very individualized. And people will make the choice. And I think what can be challenging is when we see people suffering or, living in ways that they're not healing and then they're hurting other people more and more and more. That's the hard part, is to watch that. So hopefully we can help reach more people and help them see a different way through life. That's my hope.
So you are our monthly catalyst. And first of all, we want to thank you so much for sharing this incredible gift.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we have a tradition with our monthly catalysts. And that tradition, Eva will share.
If you could whisper one thing to the fearful voice that pops up in your mind and stops you from healing, what would you whisper?
You can do it.
What fearful voice?
You can have different whispers, by the way.
You can do it. That's my whisper.
My whisper is go away.
I love it.
Because it's fearful. See, that's another subject for another 3 hours of our conversation. It happens that instead of healing, you can just train yourself to protect yourself. So you don't have to heal. And you can train it into yourself, so it will be on almost an instinct level. So the moment that you yourself, your mind recognizes that there is attack coming, you immediately put protection up. So you don't need to then take the pills in any kind of shape or form.
In essence, what you just said is that, so you actually said two things for me. Once you resolve your trauma or actually healed yourself, right? With your help, by yourself, regardless, you're able to then learn how to protect yourself so you don't have to go through this vicious cycle of healing yourself again and again and again from other traumas, because let's face it, there are always trauma around us in some shape or form. So that's a process, a multi-step process that you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be in that sequence. You don't have to hurt to start protection. You can just learn protection. Maybe you are not in trauma, but as you said correctly, it's out there. So it's just a matter of time somebody will hit you or something. right?
Exactly.
So why not just have tools which prevents it from happening? So that this is all we do is the two parts, the healing and protection. So
Mm,
protect from trauma, even from happening. And then if you got hit, then heal yourself.
beautiful.
Thank you so much. This has been an incredible conversation that is opening the door to so many more, which I'm so much looking forward to.
What an incredible conversation with Oren and Bella. We certainly went very deep and very wide. And at the same time, their focus was simply on healing and protection. We'll certainly be hearing more from them in the future. And in the meantime, we send you support, empowerment, and love.